Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello and welcome. My name is Savannah. I post all types of videos. Right now I am posting motherhood and vlogs and just everything about my life. I live in Mexico right now. Been living in Mexico. I'm gonna be living in Mexico for the rest of my life. So I'm an expat living in Mexico, and today I'm going to be talking about the process of the birth abroad process. I recently had a baby 10 months ago, and within a month of her life, she was already getting her birth abroad certificate. So I'm just gonna walk you through what they ask for and prices, if I remember how much the pricing was, and all of that info. So if you're interested in seeing that type of content, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. So first things first, if you don't know, a lot of people before were asking me, if you have your baby in Mexico, like she's not going to be able to come to the US. And that is wrong, because we are United States citizens. We do have the right to fill out paperwork saying, you know what, I had my baby in Mexico, I'm an American citizen, so this child automatically gets citizenship into the US. So it doesn't matter where you are at in the world. You go to your embassy and they will walk you through the process. And I will say that the process was very easy. It could be a little intimidating. I remember that when I got onto the website, I was not prepared for my next baby. If God willingly I have another baby, I will be setting up that appointment even before the baby is born, because I really wanted to come back to the US so that my family could meet the baby. And I wanted to do that while she was like still in the newborn phase. And when I scheduled the appointment, they gave me like, oh my God, like a month out. So I was stuck. I felt like I was stuck in Mexico for that whole month, but it is what it is. Anyways, when you get onto the website, you kind of have to go like to, I think it's like the United States Embassy, Mexico. And then from there, depending on where you're at in Mexico, they're going to tell you, okay, well, there's a US Embassy in... Mine was in Mexico City, but I know they have one in Reynosa or something like that, right? So they're going to tell you, okay, so this is the website for that specific embassy. It's different for each and every embassy. They're going to tell you, okay, so they give you the link. You'll click on that website, and then you really have to go through every single tab. You have to make sure you're reading everything very clearly, because they have just so many things going on that it's kind of, it can be a little confusing. I recommend watching a bunch of videos on YouTube. If I can find it, I will link it. But there was a guy that made a video of literally walking you through the steps, showing you all the paperwork that you need for your baby, for you, and the information that you need for both parents, etc. So they're basically they're gonna walk you through what you need to do on the website. I remember that I needed to show my passport, I needed to show my ID, I needed to get my husband's ID. Also, my husband is not an American citizen, so my baby receives citizenship through me. So you both don't have to be American citizens. At least one of the parents has to be an American citizen. And yeah, they're just gonna ask you for your passport, your birth certificate, your social, and then they're gonna ask you information about the baby before you even set up your appointment. With that being said, they do have like certain tabs that you can click on, and they'll let you already upload like your passport and all that information, even though you still have to take a bunch of copies when you go to the actual appointment. But yeah, I think if you upload it, they see that like, okay, like this is legit, like, you know, she's not trying to mess with the system. She's just, you know, doing what she needs to do. So yeah, that's what I did. I uploaded all of my information. And then after you upload all that information, they're going to tell you that there's a fee. You already pay for that fee before you get your appointment. You will not get an appointment if you don't pay that fee. I think it was like 100 and something. You already have to pay for the passport before you even go. That's one. And then after you book your appointment, you're going to get an email, and then within that email they're going to tell you the time that you're supposed to be there, or I think you choose the time and then they'll choose the dates. I was doing this towards the end of COVID, so they did not let me choose the day that I was able to go in for my appointment or the time. So that's also something to take into consideration. I got my baby's citizenship in 2022. So yeah. So after you do all that, they'll set up an appointment with you, and then they're gonna send you like a long list of what you need to do, what you shouldn't do. My US Embassy was in Mexico City. Since I'm from Veracruz, I have to go all the way down to Mexico City, or all the way up. I don't know my locations. But yeah, I had to go all the way to Mexico City. So we made like a whole trip out of this. And we had to spend a weekend, and it was a lot. Okay, so you schedule your appointment. They give you like this long list of things that you need to do. They do ask for your school transcripts, or like proof that you have lived in the US for more than 10 years. So that can be like tax information, or just anything that proves that you were in the US for a certain amount of time. I don't know how it works for individuals who are like United States citizens but never really lived in the country. So that's one thing. I did show proof of my transcripts. So I emailed my school. They emailed me my transcripts from since I was in kinder. And that was the way that they were able to verify that I was in the States for that long. What else? I also, just for proof, since it was a long trip to go to Mexico City, I had pictures of when I was pregnant, pictures of me and John in the hospital with the baby. I took my maternity pictures. I mean, I wanted to take everything that I needed. I took like 6 copies of my ID, my passport. I took my passport. I took my social. I had copies of my social. They do copies there for you, but I just really wanted a smooth process. I didn't want anybody to turn me down because I was missing this paper. You need to also have your marriage license in whatever country that you're in. Mine is from Mexico, and I did not have to get it translated, thank God. I have seen videos where they reject you and they say you need to get it translated. So just look into that. There was no phone number that I could find to ask those questions. The only number that they gave me was for the US Embassy, but it's kind of like an operator, and they already like have what they're gonna tell you scripted, so it really isn't that helpful. What else? So you have to give your passport, your social, your ID, your transcripts from school. What else? You have to pay for your appointment. Oh yeah. And then once you get that email confirming when your appointment is going to be, they do tell you that you have to already take the picture of the baby before you get to your appointment. So I had to run out. You have to get like the passport size pictures for the baby. And what else? And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, you take your pictures. Oh yeah, and then you have to like print out some papers where like you have to like state that this baby has never received a social security, because they're gonna give you that. And also, not only did I apply for her citizenship, but at the same time I did the passport. So that's why I took the passport pictures. That's, you know, I'm all over the place, but you guys kind of get the gist. So during the application, I checked off for the baby's birth abroad certificate and the passport, because if you don't have the passport, she won't be able to go into the country. So it's already something that they know that everybody's going to do. So make sure you take a look at that. And also you have to fill out some long application. I'm really going to try to link the video of the guy that I followed, and he literally walks you through the whole process. So yeah, so then you get there. And as soon as we got to Mexico City, I wanted to just like find where the location was, so that the next day I wasn't like, oh my God, where's this location? So it was really close to the Airbnb that we stayed at. And so let me tell you, if you do not have the paperwork that they're asking, there's like this little ticket box, and you won't even be able to get into the embassy if they do not okay the paperwork that you have. So, you know, you're pretty good if they check your paperwork, you have everything that you need, and they pass you in. If they don't pass you in, it's because you're missing something. So anyways, you get in, let's say you took all the paperwork that you have, you go into the US Embassy, they scan you, they take your phone away, they take basically everything away, they strip you down, and then you go into this office and it's full, like it's full. Like if you guys have ever crossed the border, it kind of looks something like that. Sorry, I'm just looking out the window. So anyways, they let you in, and then you go into like this room, and they have like all types of services there. I didn't know that you can vote, that you can receive your social security. I mean, they have everything there in the US Embassy. So anyways, you go in, and then there's another fee that you have to pay. I'm not sure if it's I cannot remember, but you do have to pay something when you're there. I think it's I don't know what it is. I cannot remember for the life of me right now, but when you do go to the US Embassy, you still have to make a payment. So keep that in mind. Make sure you double check what the paperwork tells you that you need to pay when you're there at the office, because you don't only pay for your appointment and your passport, you have to pay for something else. So just keep that in mind. And then you go in, you show the lady your paperwork, she'll okay you, and then she'll give you like a ticket, and then you'll take a seat. And then while you're taking a seat, I feel like they're already kind of like watching you. And especially if you go in with your husband, they're kind of already watching you, like to see how your family is run. Now, that's just my opinion. That's what I think. They do like kind of like watch you. Because when we got to the little box where like the interviewer is, they ask you like, when were you married? And they ask you like how you met your partner. And it's like a sort of like an intimate interview. They want to know about your life and, you know, all of that. But as soon as I showed them my transcripts, it was like an okay thing. But I did see some people get turned down. I did see some people having a more difficult time during their interview. So I don't know what the case for that is. I guess it just depends on the interviewer and the way that you're answering your questions. But other than that, I guess we were interviewed for like 5 minutes. They asked John a few questions too, and it was just like a super easy interview. And the guy will say, okay, your baby will receive their citizenship, congratulations, and you'll pay what you need to pay, and then he'll give you the paperwork. Then from there you got to go down to the post office, and you have to ship out whatever the US Embassy gives you. Oh, I know what it is now. So you have to pay for the passport to get like expressly shipped to you. So you have to pay for that before you even go down to the post office. So you pay for that. And they'll give you like this little receipt, and then you'll go down to the post office, you'll give them that receipt, and then the post office will give you another receipt with a tracking number, because it's like, since it's dealing with paperwork, government paperwork, they give you like a special receipt, and it has like this special tracking code, so you're able to track it and you get a number. So long story short, 2 or 3 weeks later, because they do try to expedite it for you, you get your passport in the mail, and your birth certificate abroad for the baby. Now keep in mind, a lot of people think that the birth certificate abroad is not equivalent to the birth certificate that you get in the US. That is wrong. That birth abroad certificate is the birth certificate that your baby is going to use the rest of their life. It's equivalent to the one that you get in the United States. It just states that they were born abroad. So yeah, that is the process. It doesn't take much. You do have to do a few research on the topics that you're trying to do, but like with anything, you need to do a little research. But it's not a tedious thing to do. It's pretty easy. If you guys have any questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments. Bad experiences, good experiences, etc., leave them down in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up if you found it helpful, and don't forget to subscribe.